Hey, this is TvZ that Snuck played. Again, you're playing against Silver League people, and you are a #1 Platinum who plays against Diamond people regularly. So you're not competing against your opponent. You're obviously going to win almost no matter what you do. You're competing against yourself. This is benchmarking against yourself. So while you made... this game made it abundantly clear that you're good enough to beat this player, and you just stomped him. You failed all of the self benchmarks for TvZ. So the first and one of the most important benchmarks, right, is when you get your first banshee out. You need to have gas started the second you start your CC, right? So your CC should go after 2 Marines, I think. So let's see. Right now you have enough for the CC, and you started just in time, and now you got to get these gases as quick as you can. Usually around 340 is when you start the gases, and then you got to saturate them as early as possible. And you don't saturate them. This is a problem you've had in every game I've ever watched yours. You really got to saturate gases beforehand, not afterwards. It's just always a little bit late. Anyway, so this factory should be starting at 4:30, and it's starting at 5:30? No, wait, it should be starting at like 5:30. 5:30, 6:30, so your Banshee should be out at 7:30, maybe 8 minutes at the latest, right? So if you want an 8-minute Banshee, your starport has to be done at 7 minutes. It means it has to start at 6 minutes, which means your factory has to start at 5 minutes. You get it? So if this starts later than 5 minutes, you can never get the Banshee out in time to survive an 8-minute push. So this Ling run by is probably why you didn't make your starport. You have plenty of gas, but not a lot of minerals because you had to fight Lings. So your starport's not going to start until forever. And you're gonna get like a 9-minute Banshee. But even if the Ling run by hadn't happened, you still wouldn't have had an 8-minute Banshee. So this would have been right now. You'd have a almost a 7-minute starport. So then a 9-minute Banshee. You know, because it'd finish at 8 minutes, and the Banshee would be out at 9 minutes. So I don't think I've ever seen you get an 8-minute Banshee, and it's really an important part of opening with Banshee as your only defense, is that the Banshee has to exist, or else you just lose to Roach or Baneling, the 2 things that Banshees are good at killing. So the next benchmark, right, this is the one you missed first. Be mining from 6 gases by 10 minutes. So you have this 3rd CC, it's 10 minutes. If we look at the vision of the map, he's not in any way trying to prevent you from getting this CC up. You have plenty of hellions. You should have a Banshee, but you don't. Take this base and get gas. So it's okay to miss this by a little bit, and basically the point of the benchmark is that you should try. And if you land it, build the geysers, and then he forces you back, fine. That's okay. That's acceptable. But what's not acceptable is to not even try. So you land this CC, but you don't even try for the gases for a long time, and so you're not going to be on 6 gas until 13 minutes. So this is 3 minutes late. Also, again, just like on your main, you build the gases, but you don't mine from them for a long time. So it takes you like about 30 seconds after you build the gases to start mining from them. So 6 gas is delayed by 3.5 minutes. And again, the whole point of playing against Silver League people is so that you can benchmark against yourself without any real risk of them coming and killing you. So in a Diamond League game, I could see you being paranoid and not wanting to take that 3rd so early, even though you should. That'd at least be an excuse, but in this game there's no excuse. Take it earlier. Be mining from 8 gases by 14 minutes. So right now you want to be getting your 4th, and you are. You're gonna go land it, and that's great. Right at 14 minutes is when you're gonna land it, but you need to pre-build these gases so that right when it lands, you're mining gas, and then you would definitely have hit this benchmark, right? Because the CC lands in time. But if we watch the game, it's going to be 23 minutes before you start mining from 8 gases. That's what, you know, like there's no need to miss this benchmark. You're here at 14. Why do you not finish the geysers until 17? That's 2 minutes after when you landed the CC until you get the geysers up. And then you don't put guys on the geysers until 23 minutes into the game. So definitely missed that. That benchmark. The number 4 is to continually build and suicide hellions all game long. Right, so you've been doing a good job on building hellions, and you did suicide them once up here at like 8 minutes, but it's 18 minutes before you actually suicide them again. So from 8 minutes when you start making hellions until 18 minutes when you have 22 of them, you only suicide hellions once, and that's not really. I mean, he doesn't feel like he needs spines. He doesn't even feel like he needs a base. If you suicide hellions over and over, he's going to keep roaches at home, or he's going to build spines at home, or things like that. So definitely be suiciding these hellions more often. You do it once, and then you get away, and then you don't do it again for 8 more minutes. So That's a fail there as well. The 6th benchmark is the ultimate, the ultimo. No, wait. 5th benchmark is the, you know, the what I call the first 200U, right? So the way TvZ works is first you max on 200U, where you have 80 workers and you have like a $10,000 army made of, you know, like Thor, Hellion, Banshee, maybe 1 Raven, maybe 3 or 4 tanks, and 3 upgrades. And that gives you your $10,000 army equals 83 workers, 10 Hellions, some Thor, tank, Banshee, 1 Raven. And then you remax again later on. You use this 10k army to defend as you take 5 or 6 bases, like your half of the map basically, and start building PFs everywhere, orbitals everywhere. This is where you really build up your infrastructure, get all the way up to 10 factories, get all the way up to 5 starports and as many mining bases as possible, and like 10 orbitals, 10 to 15 orbitals. And then you suicide off all your workers, and then you suicide off all your marines, and then you suicide off all your hellions, and then you remax at a later time, usually 22 minutes, with a $14,000 tier 2 army equals 40 workers and pure Thor, tank, Banshee with like 3 ravens, right? And then you start saving up gas. And saving up gas and saving up gas and saving up gas and defending, and usually he all-ins you 2 or 3 times during this period of time, and you just keep remaxing on the most expensive units you can. But you've finished 3 mech upgrades, and you start to get 3 air upgrades, and you add your fusion core, and now you just start weighting your army more and more toward mass Raven battlecruiser. So you're going to be on basically pure Thor with 3 ravens, and then you're adding battlecruisers and ravens and battlecruisers and ravens to the composition each time you're forced to remax. And so your final Doom army should theoretically be between $18,000 and $22,000 army equals 40 workers, mostly BC Raven, some Thors, right? And I've never in an actual ladder game gotten to this final point. The biggest army I've ever had in a game, I think, is 15,000. But theoretically, you should be able to get to an $18,000 or even a $22,000 army later on in the game. So this point where you go from your 10k army and you cut 43 workers, it's hard to do. A lot of people, specifically you and Nick, have that problem where you just sit on 83 workers and your money gets higher and higher. And if we look 24 minutes into the game, you're still on 83 workers, but you have 12,000 minerals. You don't need them. You all these workers that you have are just making this number higher. That's not helping you. So if you didn't have 43 of those workers, then this number, sure, it would be lower, but your army size right here, Control A, instead of 112, it'd be 140, 155, right? You'd have an additional 43 supply of army, so it'd be 155 army supply. And that's huge. That's really important. So late game TvZ, all about killing off those workers, killing off marines and hellions, and start replacing them with big, sexy, expensive things. I'd like to also point out that you don't take this base and this base until 24 minutes, which seems like you could have taken them earlier, but I don't care too much. Full mule energy, really a big deal. I should really add like number 7 down here that says never have full mule energy. It's not super important, like I said, because minerals hardly matter, but if you suicide off all the guys that are getting minerals for you and then you forget to drop mules, you're going to be completely broke. And then you're going to have to drop all your mules at once and try to spread them across your base, and that's a pain in the butt. So it's good to get used to dropping mules all the time, and especially for other matchups where that matters even more. It's just good to get in that habit. So notice how most of these workers are not mining. Just a lot of useless workers that you don't need. And you're not mining gas here. Like, again, the whole game is about how much gas you can get, so it's really important to get that gas up and mining as soon as you can. Again, you build geysers here, and you're not going to immediately put workers on it. This happened at every single base you took, including your main. You never, ever put guys on gas at an appropriate time, and that's a problem you really have had consistently since we met. So you really got to, you know, crack down on that, man. Try to fix that problem. So anyway, number 5 is the 18-minute benchmark. So let's go to 18 minutes and compare what you have to what you want. And what you have is this is 7 orbitals and a PF, right? And our goal was 10 orbitals. So you missed by 3, and that's, it's not a huge deal, but having these orbitals is what allows you to kill off those workers, is what allows your army to be bigger, so you just kind of need to have enough orbitals. 200 unit space, you definitely hit that. You were at 200 before 18 minutes. 3-3 upgrades done, you definitely hit that as well. Your 3-3 upgrades aren't quite done, but they're at least on the way, and that's good enough. So close, but no cigar. And then number 6 is your end game benchmark. By 22 minutes, you should be on end game tech. So from 18 minutes, you're on 200 U of $10,000 army, and you use it to secure your end game tech. What's your end game tech? Well, you're starting air upgrades, which you're doing, which is great, and you're getting 5 starports, which you did, which is awesome. That's great. You did that. And you're getting 10 factories, and you didn't do that. You're on 4 factories. And your gas is kind of low, so it's not surprising that you chose not to make more factories, and I think that's the right choice, even, to not get more factories. Because why waste gas on a factory that isn't going to be able to produce anything? You're out of gas. But this is not good. The reason you're out of gas is because you're not mining gas. You're still on 3 gas geysers, or 3 actually, you're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gas geysers. These 2 are not mining because you never put guys on them, and this one's not mining. So you should have 10 factories, but you should also have a heck of a lot more gas so that you can actually afford to use those 10 factories. So you whiffed that one pretty big as well. And let's see. No more than 50 workers, you have 83, so you're way above the worker benchmark. And you should have 40 turrets spread about various bases. You have 0 turrets anywhere. You should have... turrets are important because Burrowed Infestor Harass is a really big deal in the Masters League. I don't know that... I mean, it might not be important to you because you never face it, but someday you're going to wish you had turrets, and I'm going to say I told you so. So, and also you should have at least 3 PFs. I mean, you could afford to have 2 or 3 PFs over here, and two PFs here, and 2 PFs here. Just anywhere you can't reach with where your army tends to sit, PF. Lots of PFs. Just think of them like spines. You're just using them to delay when your opponent gets to you. So you won this game hands down. You kicked his butt. You did great. And that's a good feeling. But remember, this is a Silver League player. You were going to beat him no matter what you did. You would have beat him with the bio build that you used to use. You would have beat him with anything. So you're competing against yourself, and you didn't hit the benchmarks that we talked about. So good try, but try again.